Welcome to VHS Voyage, where we are on a journey to find and watch VHS tapes that we've never seen and never heard of. I'm Matt.
I'm Devin.
And in today's episode, we are going to take a look at
To Wong Foo, Thank You for Everything, Julie Newmar.
To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar.
I'm just calling it To Wong Foo.
Yeah.
That's way easier.
Way easier. Here's with some information and facts about this movie before we get into the discussion.
It was directed by Beeben Kidron, literally not really known for anything else. Hasn't directed a lot since then. Works in documentaries and stuff like that, and also runs some kind of organization. Written by Douglas Carter Bean, who is actually a theater writer, and he actually wrote this originally for the theater, but then they sold it as a screenplay. And you can actually, I can feel that in this movie for sure.
Yeah.
Because of like some of the dancing and all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
The wardrobe and all
for
that.
For sure.
It made $47 million at the box office.
$47 million.
It was #1 for 2 weeks.
Really? For 2 weeks?
I did not know this.
Wow.
It does make sense though, because when you see the actors at this time, they were big deals.
Oh yeah.
Would you like to guess the IMDb score?
I'm going to say 6.5.
6.6.
Oh,
you were so close. You were
yes.
0.1 off.
Nice.
So Rotten Tomatoes, take a guess.
Okay, Rotten Tomatoes.
Critic and audience.
Rotten Tomatoes critic score, I'm going to say 70. Audience score, I'm going to say 60.
Critic is low.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
audience is high.
Okay, so let's say critic 40, audience 70.
Okay, critic 41.
Okay.
I guess critics didn't really like this one.
Yeah.
Audience 71.
Okay.
So you were 1 off both times. You're 1 off on everything today. What's going on? This movie stars Wesley Snipes. Everybody knows who Wesley Snipes is. Blade, Demolition Man, U.S. Marshals, all that stuff.
Yep.
John Leguizamo,
yeah.
Okay. Everyone knows who this is, but IMDb says he's known for Ice Age, John Wick, and Die Hard 2. I saved the lead actor for last because there's a really cool fact that I found when reading about this movie. Lead actor is Patrick Swayze. Again, everyone should know who Patrick Swayze is more than likely.
Yes.
He's known for Dirty Dancing, Ghost, and Point Break. Those were his most popular on IMDb. The reason I saved him for last is I was reading some information about this movie. It said Wesley and John said yes right away.
Okay.
The second they got offered the part, it was like
no hesitation.
We're doing this. Patrick Swayze's role was considered among these actors. There was a lot of talking about who they wanted for this. It was considered for Robert Downey Jr., Gary Oldman, Matthew Broderick, James Spader, Willem Dafoe, John Turturro, Johnny Depp, Rob Lowe, and Tom Cruise.
Wow.
All those people were considered and I guess given a script.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for certain reasons.
Wow.
But the reason Patrick Swayze got it, he had a full makeup team dress him up as a woman, and he got the director and said, I want you to walk around Hollywood with me. And he walked around as a woman in Hollywood and nobody knew. He passed as a woman. He acted like as a character the entire time. And right there, the director gave him the role.
Wow.
She gave him the role right there. So I thought that was really interesting. So
he
was definitely more dedicated to this, and you could tell he really wanted this by doing something like that.
Oh, for sure.
And he was actually nominated for Best Lead Actor in a Musical or Comedy at the Golden Globes, and John Leguizamo was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the Golden Globes. Wow. So this movie got award consideration too.
Wow. Let me just kind of run through the story of the movie real fast. So in this movie, we have our three main characters played by Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo. Patrick Swayze plays Vita, John Leguizamo plays Chi-Chi, and Wesley Snipes plays Noxima. Now, as if you can't already tell from the front of the VHS tape and what we've already discussed so far, they all three are gay men that play drag queens. And the movie starts off in New York City. They're at a drag queen pageant. Vita and Wesley Snipes' character Noxima both tie in the drag queen pageant, and they win a trip to Hollywood, California to do the national pageant, and they run into John Leguizamo's character Chi-Chi crying because he's upset that he didn't win the drag queen competition, and they decide to bring him along with them, and they sell their plane tickets, decide to go on a cross-country trip. And this is where we have an interesting cameo in the movie that kind of surprised me.
This actor is also uncredited, completely uncredited.
Completely? What?
Because I think it was wanted to be a surprise.
Yeah, okay, I see. So we had a surprise cameo of
Robin Williams.
And that I did not see that coming at all.
Oh, Cher, you spoke French. How bad. Look at you, my little piñata.
So their car breaks down. They end up in this small town in West Virginia called Snydersville, and this is where the bulk of the movie takes place as they try to blend in with this town, survive a few days while they wait on their car to get fixed, and avoid people discovering that the fact that they're actually men, they're trying to pass off as women, and the conflict kind of goes from there, and the story kind of goes from there. You want to add anything to that?
It's a small town that might not be
very small.
It might not be as accepting of certain things, so it makes it even a little bit more troubling for them. I want to talk about how it's directed by a female, because I think that's definitely the right way to go here, because I think a lot of times male directors and male writers make women out to be kind of ignorant and dumb in movies. I'm just gonna be 100% honest. It's true. There's a lot of stereotypes they use that aren't real, and this movie is definitely female led. You know what I mean? It was men playing females,
right?
But there's also a lot of women in this movie too, in this town as well, and I just think it worked better probably having a female director to do that, because she could probably guide it more and understand it more, and put more to the story than probably a male director could. He probably would have made it a little more silly.
And I think that's a good segue into the acting in this movie between John Leguizamo, Patrick Swayze, and Wesley Snipes. It's pretty impressive.
It's fantastic. I thought it was
pretty
great.
Freaking
I mean, they were
impressive.
nominated for awards.
Yeah.
It's really good.
You
it's
almost
really
can't tell that it's them.
No joke. Sometimes I forgot.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, oh,
Me
this
too.
is just some women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the mannerisms down. They were doing the female voices very well, and that can't be easy to do.
No.
That can't be easy to do. I'm not gonna say I've tried it before, but maybe just kidding.
No, you have.
They freaking nailed it.
Yeah.
It was very, very impressive, and like he said, I agree. I even forgot who the actors were sometimes.
Especially Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
I thought he was like unreal.
Oh, easily.
Really good. Really
Easily.
good.
I think my least favorite was probably John Leguizamo. I felt like his performance was a little slightly over the top, but it was still good.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that he was probably my least
His
favorite.
performance also felt like it had a lot of improvisation too.
Yeah.
I think Wesley Snipes did too.
Yeah.
Because there were some jokes that Wesley Snipes threw in there that I was like, they were like really low cut references, and I was like, a writer didn't write this. He definitely just came up with it. Like there's a joke about Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
No writer's writing a joke about Sam Cooke. Wesley Snipes definitely came up with that.
You think he improv the driving Miss Daisy line? You remember that
Maybe.
one in the
I think he
beginning?
probably improved a lot here.
Yeah. Kind of along the same lines there, the costume design for those three characters was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was a lot of variety. It seems like every scene they had a different outfit on.
Yep.
You know, and it was very flamboyant, very over-the-top outfits, very colorful.
I do want to talk about the colors though, because you just kind of brought that up with the clothes. This movie does have super campy, like candy, vibrant colors everywhere. And I'm a sucker for that. I love that when I watch a movie and I see like these bright colors, no matter what the genre is. I love that. So that was really one thing about this movie that I loved. There was a lot of shots that used it. There was like one shot where they were by the pool that I thought was great. It lasted like 30 seconds, but it was really good. I really liked that one. So the colors in this movie are great. They're used really well.
Let's talk about some of the themes in this movie briefly, because this movie, Wong Foo definitely dealt with some themes that were definitely indicative of the 90s and somewhat small town America.
Yeah.
And that, that's the idea of some racism, some homophobia, how men treat women, that sort of thing. It definitely dealt with some pretty dark themes at times, but it definitely dealt with some themes that I feel like were this movie might have been a little ahead of its time. What do you think?
A little bit, yeah, for sure. There was starting to dive more into that during that time in the mid to late 90s. Things were becoming more accepting in film and stuff, for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a brave movie to make, for sure. I mean, I would imagine they took a lot of chances with this one.
Yeah, and for the actors too, because people could have made fun of them and been like, oh, this is a career ender, but they just went for it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I respect it. I mean, that shows how dedicated they are to the craft.
So this score was very 90s. You hear this a lot in 90s movies. It's like I don't know how to explain it. There might be a name for this. The scores sound kind of Looney Tunes. I know this is going to sound weird, but it's like lots of flutes and trombones and tubas and like these like soft like guitar plucks. You hear it in tons of 90s movies, especially like comedies and dramas and stuff like that. This really went into that, and I love that sound. Every time I watch a 90s movie, I'm just like, I love this sound. I miss this. I wish more movies would do this again.
Yeah, had some pretty decent licensed songs in it that fit too. Like Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
The soundtrack had like Lionel Richie, James Brown, Cyndi Lauper, and they were definitely trying to sell this because before the movie, there was no trailers. The only thing was actually a commercial for to buy the soundtrack for the movie. So they were definitely trying to sell this soundtrack. It has a lot of licensed songs for sure.
This movie Wong Foo didn't really have a antagonist. I mean, it sort of did. So at one point in the movie, they had a sort of violent encounter with a police officer that definitely, this police officer was a piece of shit. Just straight up a piece of shit. And the encounter did turn a little bit violent, and Vita pushed him, landed on the ground, out cold. They thought that they killed him. Of course, they didn't kill him, but they thought that they killed him, so they took off. And, you know, he comes back later and vows to get revenge, and he's trying to find them, and his cop buddies are making fun of him because he got beat up by a girl. And so that, I mean, I guess that was kind of the antagonist, sort of. But this, I feel like the antagonist of this movie was more so the conflict of them worried about being accepted and how people were going to treat them.
It was more like the perception of the people was the antagonist, for sure. It was more like, it wasn't directly a person, it was more like an idea that was the antagonist.
Yep.
I do want to make a point that a lot of movies, when they push some boundaries of an idea, they'll almost get scared and push away from the idea at the end. And I do want to say that this movie does not lean away from what it is. To the very end, they're women. They don't all of a sudden just have like this man side come out where, oh, it's actually the man that won. No, this movie doesn't go away from what it believes in. And I really appreciated that, especially again for the time. A lot of movies would have pushed away at the end and tried to have some kind of savior of the movie. And this movie definitely did not do that. And I really respect that for sure.
So that is To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. What do you think, Devin?
I really like this movie. I actually really like this movie a lot. I like kind of, you know, strange movies that push boundaries. I was really entertained throughout.
I was too.
I don't know what other kind of movies we're going to find on this journey, but by the end of this year, this is definitely going to be near the top for me. I really like this movie. If I had to explain it for like a film nerd, it's like Baz Luhrmann meets John Waters or something. So that's definitely how I would explain it if you're into those kind of directors. I like this movie a lot. I really like this movie a lot.
For me, like, so going into it, when we saw this on the shelf, because look, I'm you know, I don't know anything about drag queen culture, know nothing about it, right? So it's hard for me going into a movie like this to know if I'm gonna enjoy it or not, because I don't know anything about that culture. And so I had kind of some preconceived notions on, am I gonna like this movie? But then I'm like, well, it's got some good actors in it, you know, so give it a chance. And you know what? I liked it quite a bit as well. It was consistently entertaining throughout. It dealt with some interesting themes. It was different. I could see myself watching this movie again
I'm definitely watching this movie again. I like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
It's definitely scoring high for me.
This is one of those movies that I would want to sit down with other people that have also never heard of it and let them watch it as well, so that they can also be hopefully pleasantly surprised. So yeah, I think since we're both saying this is a movie we would watch again, I think this is a keeper.
This is for sure a keep it.
Yep, this is a keep it. To Wong Foo, going back on the shelf, not going to be in a giveaway. Sorry, folks, but I'm sure there will be more movies in the future that will not be a keeper that we can give away to you all.
So if you do want to watch this movie, it's not on, as of right now, when this is being recorded, it's on no streaming services to watch, but you can rent it anywhere. Amazon, Vudu, anything you use. You can rent it. It's like $2.99 everywhere, basically. So this is an easy movie to find. It's not going to be hard to find this. You can definitely watch it.
Yeah, and I think we both agree this is one that you should give a chance, rent, watch it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by it. All right, well, that is today's episode of VHS Voyage. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.